This is not the first time Camry Johnson has gone missing. She went missing on January 31st back in 2007, so about 2 years ago she went missing. That time she was found here at Sage Valley Middle School. They took a rock just like this, then bashed open the front window. They went in that store, got whatever money they could find, then came right next door and did it all over again. And a welcome sign to many passengers here. We hear a plane taking off right now. They are still coming and going here, even though many have been delayed and canceled out of the Seattle and Portland area. Natalie, anyone who's driven recently has seen the roads very dangerous right now. So when we heard that people were cutting back or getting rid of their auto insurance altogether, we had many questions. How low can you go? How much is enough? And what happens if you cut too much? And good morning, everyone. I'm Blake McCoy. We begin with breaking news out of Boise this morning, where an armed robbery has just occurred at the Maverick store at Victory and Cole. CBS 2 Eyewitness News is live at the scene. From one unit alone, you can see the State House, over here Bronco Stadium, as well as the Boise Depot. But if you thought you were going to see a lot of new condo towers pop up in this one's wake, think again. The downtick in the economy means that this is likely the last edition of Boise's skyline for quite some time. You can see just how high the water has come up. This trash can is usually outside of the river, and this bank is usually free of water, but that's certainly not the case today. Water levels have been rising all weekend long. Before issuing his verdict, the judge said Juan Rios had a heart of darkness.
Your choices were totally senseless.
Life in prison without the possibility of parole, the harshest sentence Rios could have received.
He's not getting out of prison, and he's not going to hurt anybody else.
Rios was found guilty of shooting and robbing 3 Northwest Lineman College students outside a house party last September.
Well, you have a plan, you're going to college, and it just got cut short real quick.
After spending 8 months in the hospital, Kyle DiDamasi has begun a long recovery. The gunshot to the back of Kyle's neck caused tremendous nerve damage, and Kyle now eats through a tube.
Today's verdict was, really, it's the only justice I can have, because, there will never be justice to what I've gone through.
Wendy Askins, whose son Austin was shot in the face, asked Rios 2 questions in court today: why he shot her son and if he was sorry. He answered one of them.
I put you and your family through a lot of pain and hardship. There's no excuse for it. I'm sorry, I really am. I wish there was more I could do, but that's all I have.
I don't think he knows why he did it, but I was just happy to get one answer. He did say he was sorry.
And he will have his entire life behind bars to contemplate why. Reporting in Boise, Blake McCoy, CBS 2 Eyewitness News. Expired food lining the shelves of the Idaho Food Bank. Until a few months ago, this wouldn't have been allowed.
Very good food that still was good. It still was edible. We were throwing it out.
Out with the expiration dates and in with a new visual inspection. Each can and package is now looked at on this assembly line to determine the product's freshness.
We are examining that in more detail than ever before.
The Idaho Food Bank takes much of the food it collects and then they donate it to local community groups. One of those groups, the Idaho Community Action Network, is now questioning the safety of these new inspection methods. ICANN began raising questions when one of their participants in Kuski received frozen meat 4 years past its expiration date.
That is our concern, is the safety of the people who are receiving the food.
ICANN's executive director thinks visual inspections are too subjective. She points to the 4-year-old meat as one example why. Especially on something like meat, and see 4 years old. Do you at least see where their concern is?
I can certainly see that. I know that when I buy a fresh product, it often will say things like use or freeze by on it. It does not say use or freeze or throw out by.
Simon says the meat was handled properly and never a health threat. We showed Simon another expired product right off of his shelves, and he insists he would eat it.
It says best by. It does not say at all used by. It does not say product turns to whatever by.
As far as Panetta's desire to return to the old inspection method, is that going to happen?
No, because we would be throwing out perfectly fine food.
Panetta said she will continue to express her concern, but so far has no plans to stop accepting donations from the Idaho Food Bank.
Okay, so
reporting in Boise, Blake McCoy, CBS 2 Eyewitness News. The Idaho Food Bank is part of the Second Harvest Network, and these new visual inspections have been implemented at all of their food banks nationwide. 2 huge Powerball winners at this Nampa Mavericks in just a week, and it's got people turning out in droves, coming here to get in on the action.
Okay, $11.
We were swamped, and now I can just imagine the sales are really going to skyrocket here.
Thank you very much.
The latest $600,000 win comes just 1 week after a $200,000 win at the same store. A few days before their win, John Garcia and Eddie Dietrich received a prophecy of sorts in the form of a fortune cookie.
Broke mine open and it says, you will inherit a large sum of money. And I read that and I just kind of laughed to myself because, what are the chances of that happening?
A few days later, that fortune was looking pretty good.
I had to check about 3 times because you don't believe that those are actually all the numbers.
The two saved the fortune and say it's now one for the scrapbook.
Could I have 5 Powerball?
But could the key to winning really lie in a cookie? With $230 million at stake, I'm not taking any chances. And if the streak continues, this Mavericks at Karcher and Middleton in Nampa is the place to buy.
We'll know Wednesday because it was Wednesday and then Wednesday, and this is coming up Wednesday. So if we still have the luck, we'll do it on Wednesday.
We're now among the hundreds who have bought tickets here all day long, and since no one here has actually matched the winning Powerball number yet, the jackpot now stands at $230 million for this Wednesday's drawing. Reporting in Nampa, Blake McCoy, CBS 2 Eyewitness News. Natalie, these storms really couldn't have come at a worse time. It's the busiest travel week of the year, one of the busiest. And even though we've dodged much of the heavy snow here in Boise, we have not dodged the effects of it. When 12-year-old Kaylin Reyes came from LA to visit her grandparents, Mom and Dad had just one deal: be home for Christmas. But now
the flight's been delayed, now it's canceled.
Well, she doesn't really care, but Mom and Dad wants her home. In fact, they're at LAX waiting right now.
They're not alone. This couple, armed with a pillow, has been stranded for 3 days trying to get to Portland. A similar ordeal for this serviceman. Freakish winter weather in Seattle and Portland has brought air service in the Northwest to a halt.
They generally just don't receive the kind of snowfall that occurred in the past few days there, so they don't have the fleet of snow removal equipment that we have here at Boise. This is routine stuff for us.
They also don't carry the same amount of de-icer as Boise, so some airlines have simply run out. From high above in Boise's air traffic control tower,
quick for takeoff.
New equipment has given them an upper hand on the weather.
Given the right equipment and the right pilot experience, we can now land with visibility as low as 600 feet.
And if fog gets too thick, the airport has chemicals to clear it out. The airport's director says airports rarely close, so if planes are grounded, it's usually the airline's call.
What I'm hearing you say, though, is that largely it's up to the pilots whether or not they're going to land their plane.
Correct. You will see certain airlines, we will be in a situation where one airline will operate and another one won't.
And with so many planes stuck, passengers like Kaylin are getting anxious.
If I have to put her on a different airline or whatever, I will, because she's got to get home by tomorrow for Christmas.
And a welcome sign to many passengers here. We hear a plane taking off right now. They are still coming and going here, even though many have been delayed and canceled out of the Seattle and Portland area. Airport administrators here say it will take several days for the system across the country to fully reset itself. That is, if the weather cooperates. Reporting live in Boise, Blake McCoy, CBS 2 Eyewitness News.